Wouldn't you love to visit an area with more than 300 days of sun a year, spectacular views, fascinating history, stunning architecture, and outdoor adventure?
And are you ready to taste some of the best wines in the world? Well, it's time to uncork a barrel of fun along America's Riviera as we discover California.
When you first set eyes on this jewel by the sea, you'll think you've stumbled on California's best-kept secret. Santa Barbara is just 90 miles north of LA, but it feels like it's a whole world away. 20 miles off the coast, the sheltering Channel Islands and a warm, cold current combine to make one of the richest marine sanctuaries on the planet. An astounding variety of marine mammals cruise these waters year-round. Back on shore, bluebird skies, sun-drenched beaches, and lush gardens and parks make you feel like the luckiest tourist on the planet. But, as the locals like to say, it's just another day in paradise. Ringed by the Santa Ynez Mountains, the city of 90,000 residents basks in a mild Mediterranean climate year-round. Michael Cohen happens to be one of those lucky guys. This Santa Barbara native takes full advantage of the abundant rays to stay outdoors as much as he possibly can. He runs the Santa Barbara Adventure Company, giving visitors an insider's guide to the best in outdoor sports. What is your favorite part of living in Santa Barbara?
Well, really for me, it's just the ability to get out, just to get 10 minutes from downtown and be up here in this beautiful Los Padres National Forest. We're starting at 4,400 feet on the top of the Santa Ynez Range, and then we'll drop all the way back down Gibraltar Road, down into town and end up back at the beach.
Very good. That beats, of course, the adventure trip that goes up this hill.
Yeah, that's right. That's a different way to do this trip.
Yeah, well, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, Jack, we're gonna want to keep to the right as we're going down the road.
It's a bumpy ride down the mountain, but along the way, I peel my eyes from the twists and turns long enough to take in the amazing views. Believe it or not, the Santa Barbara coastline runs on an east to west axis, the only piece of coast from Alaska to Cape Horn that does. That means the region gets a year-round southern exposure. Average temperatures stay between 60 and 70 degrees all year long, keeping people and plants healthy and happy.
Basically everything here is very drought tolerant, and so this one is native of the community. It's called black sage. And you can see that it's in flowering. It's flowering right now, so it's beautiful. But the interesting thing about it is that Chumash used to use it for medicinal purposes. You can smell it. It smells really good.
Yeah, wow.
What they would do is they would tie it into smudge sticks, and they would use it to either do blessings or they would also enhance dreams.
Chumash Indians hunted and fished along the Santa Barbara coast for thousands of years before Europeans ever set foot here. The region's charms weren't lost on the residents to follow. Portuguese, Spaniards, and Franciscans would all play their part in shaping the culture and spirit of Santa Barbara. Wow, that was a fun ride.
Yeah, nice one,
And I have really been looking forward to this.
Yeah. This is the Santa Barbara Mission. This is actually the third building to be on this site.
Yeah, there was some problem here with an earthquake, right?
That's right. In 1812, the original adobe fell down, and they actually started this structure, and they've since added on to it. In an earthquake in 1925, one tower was slightly damaged, but they've repaired it.
Well, it is really, really beautiful.
Well, if you think this is nice, wait till you see the next spot we're going to go to.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Here we go.
Happy birthday, Santa Barbara, 220 years.
With 76 designated landmarks, there's a lot to explore in the downtown area. Living history brings the past to life at El Presidio, a Spanish military fortress dating back to 1782. And just a few blocks away, the real showstopper, a 20th century courthouse steeped in old world charm.
Wow, beautiful, huh, Jack?
You were right. This really does take the cake.
Yeah, it's an incredible building. This is actually a working civic building, and the court is being held right now as we speak. And it's definitely a point of pride for Santa Barbara.
I bet it is.
People come from all over the state, but actually all over the nation to see this civic building. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you know, if you have to go to court, A lot of people don't like to go to the courthouse, but if you have to go, I'd imagine this is the kind of place you'd want to show up at. It's absolutely beautiful.
Inside, there's just incredible tile work, some beautiful handmade artisan pieces, as well as there's a mural room that depicts the history of Santa Barbara, starting from the Chumash, moving to when Cabrillo arrived and the influence of the Spanish, and then up through the development of the area with industry and agriculture, and then to present day. It's just beautiful.
From the courthouse tower, you can catch a bird's eye view of the city. Looking out at the sea of red tiles and white walls, it's interesting to know if it hadn't been for a huge disaster, the city might look like any other in California. After an enormous earthquake leveled much of the town in 1925, an architectural board of review was established. Pearl Chase provided the vision that would keep Santa Barbara's Spanish Revival style forever. Today you can whiz down palm-lined State Street and see historic El Paseo, one of the West's original malls. Blends right in with modern shops and cafes. At 7 miles long, State Street is the town's main artery. It gets its start at the base of Stearns Wharf. In service since 1876, the wharf is the oldest continually working pier in the West. Stearns has endured several fires and thousands of seafaring birds to remain one of Santa Barbara's prime attractions. Our 17-mile ride ends just around the bend at the Santa Barbara Harbor, home to watercraft of every imaginable kind. It's obvious the locals are keeping the seafaring tradition alive. The best place to take in all the action? Brophy Brothers Restaurant, one of the hottest seafood joints on the coast. Michael, this is a perfect place to end this trip.
Yeah, it's enjoyable, huh?
Delicious.
Yeah, I love to bring my guests here because basically you see the working boats, they bring the fresh fish right off the dock straight into the restaurant.